Welcome back to Days Info Startup Series Special. The startup ecosystem in India is just growing by leaps and bounds. Every day, thousands of startups are taking place, and thousands of startups are also incubating with the equal number of speed. However, there are a significant number of startups which are also dying down due to the absence of proper strategy, a clear vision, a proper business planning, or the most important, failing of identifying the real assets. To discuss more about the startup challenges today, we have Mr. Shekhar Kirani, partner SL Investments India. Mr. Shekhar, my first question is, I want to understand that more of the people who are coming out from after serving a long in any of the companies, then they're trying to do any entrepreneurship. What is the very first thing they need to look to have in that to pass over the entrepreneurship and to pass over all the challenges involved in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so this is a very good question, because we at Axel, where we're an early stage venture capital firm, we see a lot of mid-level execs who are looking at this alternative career path of creating something of their own, which is sometimes big, sometimes small, but have been at a large institution in different roles, very successful roles, very accomplished roles, but don't know how to cross over to the entrepreneurship world. The big challenge for many of them is the reason why they want to change. So many times they're confused a little bit. So I'll give you examples. Most common reason I hear is, I'm not seeing any more growth in my organization, and looks like I'm hitting a wall. Then I don't want to do the same type of job in another company. My growth and my job satisfaction is kind of getting to a limit. I want to try something new.
Is it because of company is stagnating, or it is your profile is stagnating?
What happens is, in a company, you grow in any company, if you look in enterprise, you grow for three reasons. One, organization is growing.
Yes.
When organization is growing, it lifts everybody.
Correct.
Now there is a rising tide lifts every boat. If an organization is going from 1,000 to 10,000 people, everybody grows.
True.
Including somebody who is an average person also grows.
Correct.
Right? That's one category.
Yes.
Second category is, my leadership is leaving. There is a gap, and I'm really good to go and occupy. So if leadership is not leaving, they're all stuck, they're all doing a good job, and they're doing an outstanding job.
True.
You may be a really outstanding person, but there's no room. If there's no room, nobody will create an artificial position for you.
Yes, I agree.
And the third one is, I'm a really, really good person and really good at what I do, and I can find a crack and position myself. So people have kind of 2-3 reasons, but so far in the last, I would say, 15 years in our technology and IT and product industry, enough has growth has happened to the level where it kind of, now it is a regular industry growth, not that accelerated growth that you used to see.
Correct.
That's the one side of the equation. On the other side, you're hearing about some cool startups. The startup blogs are talking about it. Economic Times is covering about it. You hear from your friends, cousin, or somebody else. You go to Valley, you see what is happening, and you check what's happening in Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad. You're hearing about these very interesting companies. Same work you do in this big company, doing outside, and getting a fantastic job satisfaction, market feedback, and a potential growth that is happening, and they're saying, how come I'm missing that boat?
Correct.
Why can't I be doing that? So this is the trend towards, let me go towards entrepreneurism and let me be an entrepreneur, and versus, I have this fundamental problem, I want to fix that problem. I believe that's the passion. That passion part, many of the times is manufactured, but not necessarily there, that is hurting them so much that I really don't care about my job. I've made enough money. I can survive on small enough money. I want to try this out. Another 10 years, what can go wrong?
Maximum.
What, like 5 years? Yeah. If I can survive 5 years outside, zero salary, I'll fail completely. So be it, let me try it out. If you're not coming with that, with a passion that I will make a change, I will make a difference, I will show this thing because I see these problems, then, it's like I'm trying to see how much of my world I have existing, I'll recreate in the startup world.
Correct.
You're not starting with a clean slate.
Correct.
When you don't start with a clean slate, any small issues, you run back.
True. I agree.
So this is a kind of, this kind of conversation I do at least one every week now.
But do you think only having a passion, is it enough for an employee to jump into the entrepreneurship bandwagon, or what is something else which puts him differently than out of the crowd?
See, so the question is, can I train somebody for entrepreneurship? And the answer is yes, I can give all the education. In fact, there is on the web so much information. You take 2 weeks off, you read it, you read every blog entry, every VC entry, and there's enough information, enough books. 2 weeks dedicated time, you'll know everything about it.
So 2 weeks entrepreneurship course.
Of course, you'll know everything about it.
Okay.
But it's not practiced. You have all the theory. Oh, here I can pitch to a VC. Here I can get my idea big. Here is my target market. But you're not practiced. And the journey to go through entrepreneurship and actually solve the problem, there has to be a burning problem that you have recognized. And you believe it's worthy that problem to be solved.
Okay.
And with you or without you, I'm going to solve it. If you don't start with that, then the rest will fall in place automatically.
Okay.
Versus, let me do this, let me do that. I'm making around 30 lakhs. Can I get to 20 lakhs of annual salary in another 1 year? I can survive 1 year without salary. If all these other issues get in the way, then you're not focusing on the problem you're trying to solve. So it is not like a career path you're trying to say that I'm going to be an entrepreneur today. In 1 year, I will make this much money. I will get promotion. That's not like changing from one company to the other company.
Correct.
So it is about you are the CEO, everything about the company. Your mission in life is to solve a problem. And many times people say, I have an idea, but I don't know how good the problem is.
Okay.
That's where, you spend 3 months, 6 months thinking about it, talking to your friends, talking to your network, and find out, is this really a big enough problem worthy of solving? I'm really passionate about it, but I want to solve it. Is this worthy of solving? If it is a big enough market, big enough things, feedback is good. If you solve it, there are enough people, then enough resources are there to organize and jump in.
But again, in the Indian startup industry ecosystem, if you see most of the entrepreneurs, they are coming from a background where they have either been a developer or either been a product manager or either been a product head. And obviously the success ratio is quite high in that bunch. But still, do you feel that there are lots of, let's say the courses like an IPL or the workshops like IPL, is it really vital and necessary for them, or does it really adds up anything, value addition to them before they jump?
Correct. See, there are two things you have to separate. One is me starting a company as an entrepreneur versus me contributing to a startup as a product manager or a big company.
Okay.
They're two different positions.
King and a kingmaker.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you understood. So the me starting a company, you can come from any background.
All right.
Right? Because your job at the end of the day is to really look at the problem and what your strengths are. You understand it. Surround yourself with all the complementary skills that you need to be successful.
Correct.
There are enough examples in India right now where people have come from pure sales background, built very strong product and R&D teams around themselves, and doing an extraordinary job in the business. There are enough examples where people have come from pure technology background with zero sales experience, found a best sales partner and a product partner to come together and solve the problem.
Correct.
Right? So you have to start somewhere. You start with your strengths, you start with the market, and you start with the problem. Then surround yourself with the right people, you can solve it.
Correct.
But right, so that is different from I want to learn and make a difference to a startup as a product manager.
Okay.
Versus I'm a product manager background and experience, I want to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So let's take both those examples. If you look at any company life cycle, the linchpin for the success or failure is the product management role.
Correct.
Because that defines, especially early in the game, what I call as a product market fit and product delivery fit. You are sitting in between that. There is a huge market, lot of competition is going to happen, lot of customers are there, On the other side, I have some capability in terms of my assets. 3 engineers, 4 engineers, little bit of money savings.
True.
And I have a small office, little bit of my connections in my network. Your assets are that.
Correct.
This is the market. And now I have to make a day-to-day decision about building this product or a service that is extremely valuable in this market with limited amount of resources, with least amount of shelf life. So I'm actually helping execution of the concept or idea, translating into what is required in the market from my assets. And that linkage is so critical because you can get lost in day-to-day and hourly work, but you can't lose the vision, because every day you are working towards making sure you're generating enough money, enough marketing, enough brand, you're surviving, and at the same time there's a vision to reach. So you can't be sitting in a room and working for 9 months, 12 months, and then come out, it's too late.
Correct.
Or you start going and selling it to the companies say, I want it, but the product is really lousy. That also doesn't work.
Always.
So you really need this person. So far, what was happening is these persons were all, there was no school or a college or a training to learn. Almost every one of those guys were done at a company or experiential learning. That was the case. The only way I know you're a good product manager is what have you done before?
Correct.
What have you learned?
Yes.
So now with this, which is very well overall combined curriculum, experiential learning and training, they are removing as many open questions in their mind and telling them the framework to think about on a day-to-day basis, so they can apply themselves, whether they're in a big company or a small company or a startup, to be able, based on their sentiment and their mindset, to be able to create value.
Really, these days, lots of things I've seen that most of the entrepreneurs, when you go and meet, they always be engaged one or some other type of workshop, just like an IPL. Do you think that a person, a product guy who's holding a extensive experience of, let's say, 15 years, 16 years, for him, 3 months course like an IPL and all will really add any value?
So the IPL is more than 3 months right now. It's a slightly longer duration course. And so the 2 months, 3 months, the question is 2 things. Are you after certification, like CA certification, so that people recognize me that I am certified product manager or certified project management?
Correct.
Or whether you really want to learn the art and science of product management. IPL, even though the certification is there, if they don't solve the art and science of product management, then when they come out, I don't think they will succeed in the startups. So if you look at the curriculum and the training and the use cases and the case studies, they're all set up to make these tough choices and simulate the environment so that they're trained to know that what are my options on a day-to-day basis and which path I select and what are the repercussions that's going to happen. And that part of training requires your foundation understanding of financial models, your understanding of my engineering a little bit, your understanding of my customers and customer segmentation, understanding of marketing, understanding of sales, because product manager sits in between all these functions to ensure company moves together in the right direction.
True.
So that if somebody is usually so far, you have to pick somebody who has done this for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years in a big company or a mid company or a small company, could have failed, but so be it. They learned, and then we can implant them in another company. This, the hope is that will need not require, because we have to grow fast, we have to create more companies. With being trained, the odds of success will significantly increase with these people working in a startup or a mid-sized company as product managers.
I would like to conclude my discussion with the last question that, most of the startups, the biggest challenge is converting their employees into an asset.
Correct.
What is the best way to do so, and what is the best way to identify, yes, this could be my asset and this could be just an employee, I can still live without that?
See, what happens is, if you look at it, what are you going to build at the end of the day, right? How I'm going to build a monopolistic position in the market where people come to me for my product or service rather than I go and beg them. That is the position you want to be.
Basically a brand value.
Brand value where people come to me, and brand value doesn't come just because I advertise. There has to be true value in my product, value has to match, and so on.
Correct.
Whatever I'm building in that process anybody in the line of sight of that is always going to be an asset. Anything is outside, I will use outsourced employees, I will use consultants, I will use those things. So the first job of a product manager is my team I'm building, it's in the company, are those who have aligned with me to the vision where we are heading, and they're in the line of sight all the way to the customer, all the way what they're doing.
Correct.
If not, then you're adding excess people who are not aligned to you. They're thinking like a job, but not necessarily taking the pride that I'm moving the ball in the right direction.
Correct. So I believe that is a really nice conversation, and we learned that how exactly in a startup it is quite important for in a startup to throw away the extra baggages and identify the right assets and move on with them.
Great.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Mr. Shekhar. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.